Alright, so I have just completed my sets analysis between myself and P9, and instead of kind of picking that apart, I wanted to make a video about what R.O.B can do against Lloid, and kind of use this as a reference going forward. And I'm just gonna like do it live with a bot that I set up, so I might mess up here and there, but let's get started. So when a villager does a Lloid, they have a lot of options. They can do like a short hop forward air or a full hop fair. They can dash in with a grab, and it's pretty hard for R.O.B to deal with because I don't have any projectiles that I can safely just throw out to beat it. Full laser only comes every 10 seconds, and it does actually destroy the Lloid, but the issue is full laser, I cannot use it on reaction to actually destroy the Lloid, so I have to use it as a read, which is not good. And I also want to avoid the chance of that being pocketed, because that becomes a kill option, and it does like 40% with their damage multiplier. The other option I have is gyro, but they can pocket it before I can actually get to it if I use it in that way, so that's no good either. And arm rotor does reflect it, but it is too laggy to use on stage in neutral. So what do I do about it? There's a couple things that I kind of found, and I'll just go through them one by one. Hopefully I don't forget anything. But yeah, so the first thing I can do. So if they do a Lloid rocket, one thing that I found is it's actually a decent option for R.O.B. So if they do the Lloid, to actually dash back and then hit the Lloid with a grounded option. The downside to this is I'm going to be stuck in this laggy animation for a bit, but it's kind of a very easy to do option there, and you can see that my dash actually will low profile a short hop fair by the villager. This is very easy, so if I'm kind of not expecting the Lloid and I'm kind of not ready for it, I can be late on my reaction. I just need to time my dash. As long as I time my dash, I'm kind of not going to get hit. So I think this is okay. The only downside is I'm going to get stuck in that animation, and the villager's going to kind of take up stage because I have to dash back. So yeah. The other thing I found is that I can, on reaction, dash back and then go for a fair, depending on how I do it. So yeah, actually before I go into this, there's one note I have to make on how Lloid works. So if the villager does a Lloid, and I try and clank with it here, it's always going to hit me, like every single time. But once the Lloid actually starts moving, you can actually do an aerial to it, and it will break the Lloid. Whoops. And there it is. So once it starts moving, its properties kind of change. And forward air does enough damage seemingly to break it. So I can go for a dash back into forward air, and that's always going to break the Lloid. The downside of that, again, is I need to dash back, and I need to time my forward air properly. But I feel it could be a pretty consistent thing. And yeah, if the villager does fade into that, they are obviously going to get hit by these moves, like the F-tilt or the forward air. The villager doesn't have to fade in like that, but I feel like it's going to cover them if they try to dash in for like a grab. So if I like do that dash back F-tilt, I feel it is going to do a decent job at kind of covering that. So those are the first two things that I found. What else? Yeah. So the other thing is the fact that I can actually dash through Lloid on reaction and then hit villager with whatever I want. The best thing I can do is to go for a fair, but fair is unsafe on hit at 0, as the bot kindly demonstrated. This is going to be a better option at around 40 to 60%. I think it's like 50% that they go into tumble. Okay, so it's around 55% is when they get sent into tumble, and then I can follow with a tech chase. So this is good. So if I'm kind of anticipating the Lloid, and I kind of see it coming. If I have a quick reaction, I can actually just go for a fair to punish the Lloid before Villager has time to do anything. So I think this is really good. The other thing I can do is actually dash through and go for a grab. It is going to be safer if I immediately input my option, because then I get my invincibility frames, and I'm always going to kind of invincibility my way through the Lloid rocket. But this becomes a good option at kill percent. So if I'm like ready to call out a Lloid, I can go for a down throw, and then with the down throw on Villager, I need to make sure that I turn around my up smash, otherwise it is always going to whiff. So as long as I turn around my up smash, like that, that's actually going to connect. But this works at any percent, so at 0, if I'm like ready for it, I can just go for an up throw forward air, and you kind of get the idea. But yeah, so things kind of change a little bit once the Villager starts doing full hop fair. So I'll change the bots, change a setting on that. So they should do a full hop fair now. Alright. So what are my options to deal with this? So I'm still going to have my dash back option to like retreat. If I'm not ready for Lloid, my best option here is still going to be to dash back. And then deal with it with like a forward air or an F tilt. But to actually deal with the forward air, it's kind of hard for R.O.B because my full hop height is like the same as Villager's. So if I go for like a fair or a nair is not going to work basically ever, because nair is such low startup. I mean, it worked there, but I get caught out a lot. So I don't really want to kind of full hop and go for that. So what is a good option? Something I found that is decent is to go for a quick... I messed up. Is to go for like a quick double jump and then come down with a fast fall nair. I'll do it one more time. I need to pay attention to the screen. It's kind of hard to talk at the same time. Alright. So I see the Lloid. And then, yeah, go for the full hop double jump. I keep messing it up. Oh my god. Alright. And this isn't... I do not have to actually be too fast to react. And this is something that I can actually do kind of outside this range. I can kind of do it over here. So I see the Lloid, and I can quickly go for a double jump and react kind of to the situation. And I think that this is fairly good. So that's one way that I can deal with Lloid, especially at like these further ranges. So yeah. What was the other thing? Yeah. So if I kind of want to make Villager approach me, I feel it's a decent option to actually crouch against Villager. Because their rising forward air is actually going to whiff every time. And if they go for like a landing forward air, that becomes reactable, so that then I can shield and kind of deal with it on reaction. So yeah, if I crouch, I can then do a reaction down tilt to the Lloid. And that's going to work every time, and that's pretty easy to do. I feel that that's, like, I don't necessarily want to do this to Villager. Like, it's all good and well to make them come to me, but I feel this is a matchup where I kind of want to be in this range, kind of in their face anyway, so I don't necessarily think this is good. It's just more something that I have. What else was there? I think that's really about all I had to show off. Oh wait, no, there is one other thing. Alright. So I'll change a setting on the bots. And now they're going to do a... So the bot is kind of like... They mess up sometimes, but what it's trying to do is a short hop side B into a forward air. And this is something that I've seen P9 actually do a bit. And he'll mix up what he does, but it's just something Villager can do, and it's something that I have to respect. So something that like the bot messes up. It's weird. But the thing that I found that will kind of let me deal with this is if we're like playing around in neutral and whatever, and then they do this short hop Lloid, going for, I messed up, but going for a short hop in front of them is actually going to be a fairly good option. Hang on. And the reason is, I can actually then come down with a fair and avoid the slingshot on the way down. Yeah, I keep messing up, but I know what I mean, and hopefully you know what I mean. Yeah. And I can actually, against this, go for a forward air on reaction. Again, this is only going to work at a % where forward air is safe on hit. But I'm only going to be able to do this if I'm like really ready for the Lloid. So maybe if they use this kind of at ledge. And that's going to win every time. So yeah. So yeah, I think those are my two best options against that. The other option I do have is if they do this without a double jump. It is actually a pretty solid option to do arm rotor, because like if they're doing this like at the ledge and they've used their double jump already and they're trying to recover, this is going to cover literally everything. So if I like keep a mental note of their double jump and they do this, they actually lose. They're going to eat an arm rotor for that. And if I time it right, I can actually reflect the Lloid. Oh, that was weird. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty good as well. I think that's pretty much everything I found and all I had to say. And those were kind of situations that came up a lot when I was up against P9's Villager. So I feel like, yeah, because I had no idea of really what to do, to be honest. So I feel that these are some solid options that I can use going forward. That's about it. Thanks for watching. See you later.